Welcome, everyone. Excited for today's case study call. We got Neil here, and he's achieved incredible transformation. Side by side was like what 120, 150 days, a little bit longer now in the program, but very remarkable results. And we're gonna share and talk a little bit more on his transformation. So, welcome, Neil.
Thank you, Mauro.
So, before we dive in and go a little bit deeper in what you did and all the questions I have for you, can you tell us a little bit more around your lifestyle, age, height, weight, schedule, so that people get like a full picture, big overview of what we're working with here?
Yeah. So age 42, living in Western Australia, which is Perth. Height 180 centimeters. Originally from the UK, moved to Australia 14 years ago. So if people are thinking he doesn't sound Australian, that's why. I've got an English accent. Joined the course. Well, first reached out to Mauro around March, April in 2024. And it was just after my wife fell pregnant with our second child. So when we eventually or when we did get started, not eventually got started, which if there was any delays, it was probably down to me dragging my heels. But when we eventually got started, it was probably June, July time. And my little baby girl was due in October. So going through the process, yeah, we had a little one, 1.5 year old boy, business owner with four businesses, 26 people working for me. 160, 170 properties under construction, big rent roll that we manage as well. So pretty busy. And yeah, maybe I use that busyness as an excuse of the reasons why I never got the results that I was trying to get previously. Um, but also the busyness, but also the lack of clarity around how to get the results, which is why I reached out to Mauro and why I've got the results I've got.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing that. I didn't know that you run for business. That takes a lot of not just that space, but also space on your calendar, right?
Yeah, I've got like I said, I've got a pretty big team. So three of them are under management themselves, and then I run one of them myself as well.
Beautiful. So, when you first reached out, it was, I believe, because of a post where you saw that I put before and afters, not of a body, but of a lipid profile. You saw, hey, cholesterol, triglycerides, all down, and it was done within certain months naturally. And you said, like, hey, mate, like, I have, a similar profile, and yes, I want to look better, but I also want to be healthier. And you weren't like new to the game. You've worked with different people before, I think even in Australia.
Mhm.
But what would you say was different this time?
So to give people a backstory on it, at the start of 2024, I wrote on my when I was writing my goals down, I wrote 2024, the year of abs, because every year I pick three values to live by, and I move them around to suit how I want to live my life, and I put health as number one. And it had always been in my top three, but I'd never ever gotten the results that I wanted, and always just felt like I was always carrying a bit of belly fat on the front. And as part of the year of abs and the ultimate year of health, I wanted to go get my blood checked by a doctor, and but I wasn't happy with my other doctor, so I found a new doctor who sent me off some blood results, and this guy was supposed to specialize specifically in men's health. So he sent me off, and he came back and he said, "Oh, your cholesterol's on the high side. Everything else looks pretty good." But we'll monitor your cholesterol. And I stupidly said, that's nothing, mate. You should have seen it a few years ago. And he said, oh, what do you mean? I said, oh, well, I used to do fly in, fly out before I got into real estate and set my own businesses up. And they took my blood one year before I went to work in Papua New Guinea, and my cholesterol and blood pressure were so high that they didn't want to send me on the project. So he asked for all the historical blood results, and I passed them on to him. And he was like, shit, this is this was quite high. Would you be interested in getting a chest scan? I can't, you'll probably know the name of it, Maro. I can't remember. It's a CT something,
CT
something.
cardiogram. Yeah.
That's a one. And I went off and got the scan, and it came back and it said that one of my arteries coming off my heart had started to get calcium
Right.
buildup, which plaque buildup, which could calcify over time. Yep. And he sent me off to a cardiologist. The cardiologist said, look, you're young, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to stress about it too much, but I would advise taking statins and aspirins. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. How long do I need to take them for? And he was like, oh, the rest of your life. And I was like, nah, 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 I'm not doing that. That's when I then seen the post about you, which was ex basically the exact same story as mine. Yeah, the doctor wanted to give him statins and aspirins. And yes, originally I did reach out to reverse that, but the effects that that's had in the change in my physique and my energy levels and my sleep and everything else is all packaged up into one big incredible outcome.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? You know, when I'm not against any particular, well, I wouldn't say any, but I'm not against most medicine. Like there can be a case made for certain people, like, hey, family history, genetics, very poor lifestyle. Like it will make sense to put someone on something, again, depending person to person. But what I really despise is when, as you said, you go to the doc and then it's like, oh, your testosterone's low. You're gonna get the cookie cutter protocol here. Your lipids are high. You're gonna get, as you said, statin, aspirin, and you're in Australia. And we have clients all over the world, especially in the US. And I see it for the US guys as well. Exact same thing. They go there. Oh, your LDL is a little bit elevated. Bam, statin, aspirin, and so. And it's like the exact same dose, exact same protocol. And it's like giving everyone the same workout plan. You know, it's like, hey, if you've done various tests and it makes sense, like, okay, for this guy here, but the dose is different, but it's always like same thing over and over and over again, right? And it's like there's not so much science and thought behind it. It's just like let's just roll that out. So they're on the safe side. It's like, hey, I've done my job. Just take this and leave the office, right? The next patient, and now you're in that monthly subscription, and we never address the root cause because we're gonna see with all new labs, but once those are back, and how did those change, and what changed, and what else can we do supplement wise, diet wise, and hey, if you've exhausted all options, maybe it will make sense, right? But in many cases, and it's very unfortunate, people don't go this far. So I'm glad that you were open-minded enough to say, hey, let me actually see what I can tweak and adjust with lifestyle supplementation before I get on a lifelong program of something that can have really bad side effects as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I went off and I did the research on statins and aspirins, and I actually told my mother about it, and my mother proudly told me that she's on statins and aspirins. She was like, "Oh yeah, I take them." I was like, I'm not taking them, mother. So yeah, that's like I said, the post that you did was the perfect timing. I just felt like I was reading my own story, which then made me reach out. And yeah, like I said, that how I'm feeling now, along with the transformation in my physique, it's been a great journey, mate, and I'm looking forward to the next 12 months.
Oh, it's
Even though
going
I've,
to be fun.
even though I've only done 6 months so far, but I know I've got another 12 months ahead of me, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. So before we dive into your results, just really quick, you gave us the backstory on the lipids and the docs that you worked with, but you're not new to the game. It's not that you've never worked out, never done something there. So, if you look back, I think you work with another trainer in Australia, maybe even personal trainers or other people. What would you say was different this time with the kinetic method compared to the previous approaches that you've tried?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been coached by bodybuilding champions in Australia. I've worked with personal trainers. I've done CrossFit, I've done hits, I've done everything you can think of, keto, high carb, low carb, high protein, low protein. I've tried everything and never really got the results that I wanted. I think what really give me the results that I've got from the kinetic method, or what's the reason that I've got the results, is at the very start, I'm a very visual person. At the very start, you give me this very simple picture of you are here and we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then it's going to do this, and this bit's going to take this long, and this bit's going to take this long, and this bit's going to take this is for the rest of your life. And it was just a very simple roadmap. But none of the other trainers give me that. They just said, we're going to cut your calories and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to just keep cutting calories forever. But when we were doing it with the kinetic methods, I knew there was a methodology behind it. I knew that it was only a short period of time. And, with Robert, working with Robert, he was just saying, look, another 2, 3 weeks and you're going to get there. And that just kept you going at the times that you wanted to quit. Just them little conversations with the coach, you've got 2, 3 weeks left max, and then you can go on the bulk. So I think the roadmap along with the accountability and the instructions as well really helped.
It's good you say that because sometimes we underestimate the simple things. Like as you pointed out, it's like, hey, it's just a roadmap, but I've always found when I'm clear, kind of like when you're driving a car, when the road is clear, you're certain and you can really hit the gas pedal. But if it's like foggy and dusty or if you have no idea where you're driving, you're gonna drive slow, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of exactly what you did with the speed of your results.
Mm. Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, speaking about the results, can you tell a little bit more on the results you got, kilograms, how you feel energy-wise, productivity, any other results that you've noticed in your life and that changed?
Yeah. So when I started the kinetic method, it was like I say, it was already in June, July anyway. So it was like mid-year. And what I was finding at the start of every year is I'd set all these new goals and come out of the traps pretty strong. And then by April, May, I'd be running out of energy, feeling fatigued, and then I'd kind of relapse, start drinking again, stuff like that, start eating more, not sleeping well. So by the time I reached out to you, I'd already had like a good 4 month of solid training, but then probably like a 2 to 3 month section of drinking a bit more than I should have, not eating the right foods, etc. So when I joined, I think it was high 93 kilos, like just coming off 94. And then once just before Christmas, we got down to the lightest I've ever been. And prior to that, the lowest, I always seem to struggle around the 86, 85 kilo mark. So I'd never been 85.9 kilo for a long time. I used to get down to 86. And then I don't know whether it was a psychological thing. I could never really break the 86 barrier. But at the end of the year, this year, I got down to 81.9 kilo, which was, I can't even remember the last time I weighed that much.
And obviously you said you run four businesses. Would you say that because you look better, or let's say look great, you feel better, that has impacted your performance, productivity, income at work, or not at all?
I think it's definitely increased my productivity. You've, I just feel more like I've got more clarity. I feel more focused, more energy. Um, and I used to always feel like I was snacking throughout the day. So I feel like my energy levels are kind of up and down and always just searching for the next coffee or the next snack or something. But again, some very simple, like I watched all the calls that you do for the people that have signed up to the course. And some of the information in them videos is just incredible. And again, just explained in a really simple fashion, again, with a very simple graphic that just shows you the different effects that food have on your body. And just that understanding and sort of knowledge part that I've now got, I can understand how to manage my appetite throughout the day when we're going through the cut period.
Beautiful. Yeah, our goal is always to make sure that you guys are not hungry, not starving, and then the cut is very, very easy. But I remember when you and I first chatted, you're like, "Hey, man, like I've done this before. I know how to cut calories. Like, I don't want to be like starving and snacking and like killing myself." And that's ultimately the goal, that you don't feel that you're in a cut, and then you can just ride it out till all the fat is gone, right?
Yeah.
So. I have one last question for you. You made the post on Facebook that, kind of what you touched on today with your transformation and all the nitty-gritty. And I had like tons of people reach out and say like, hey, I want Neil results, but when it comes to taking Neil action and Neil work, then, uh, all the people that raise their hands, there are very few who keep the hands up that are willing to put in the work that you did, which one is a testament. to your commitment and your discipline. But number two, what would you advise those guys maybe listening to this call that are on the fence, like, I don't know, like time and energy and money?
I would say the time, the energy, and the money is kind of irrelevant with if you want time, energy, and money, right? Because them things are a byproduct of being in the sort of shape mentally and physically that I'm in now. So yes, at the start, the onboarding, there's a lot of information. It can be a little bit overwhelming for people that are probably not as experienced that I was coming into the course. But again, you've got your coaches there, you've got yourself there to help people through that phase. And then once you've got the mechanics of what you need to do, I just kept it really simple. I get the same things on training days. I get the same things on non-training days. And that's how I just simplify everything. Like my wife says to me, how do you eat the same thing all the time? I'm just like, I don't worry about the taste. I worry about the results I'm going to get from it. But then I still added in them little treats every now and again. And you've probably seen that in my weight loss thing. It'd be go down and then blip a little bit and then go down and blip a little bit. I just had the odd treat now and then, which was, I think if you try and cut them things out altogether, that's when it gets really hard. Um, but the time, energy, and money, it it just becomes a part of your life once you embed it into it. So they're getting up early, they're going for the walks. I mean, I had a wife and a young child, a pregnant wife and a young child. So I had to make sure that I got my steps in before they woke up. So I was getting up at 5 a.m. every morning in the middle of winter in Australia, which, it's not as brutal as some of the other parts of the world, but you still get down to like 1 or 2 degrees and it's dark and it's cold and it's wet. And I just put my big jacket on. And I just went for a walk around the river and then got back and I just made sure that the foods I was eating were really simple every time. So you can really embed it into your life. And the first month might be difficult, like getting these systems in place, but once you've got them in place, you can really simplify it and it just becomes easier.
Yeah, very similar to what I do and the coaches do and the most successful guys in the program. It's no rocket science that once you have good systems in place, then it doesn't require that much commitment and that much discipline. Sure, it's part of it, but it's not that you have to fight yourself. It's like, hey, the structure works really well, and I can just get up and just like brushing my teeth. The meals are there, and I'm gonna get this and this and this. And again, you demonstrated that perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. One more thing I'd like to add as well, Mauro.
Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
got from a holiday. So every year Christmas, we celebrate Christmas at home, then we try and go away for New Year. So it's my first holiday that I'd had in my new six-pack look physique. And yeah, it was nice to be around the pool with the top off. I didn't do it for that reason, but it was just nice to be, for the first time ever. Not that I ever not felt confident with my top off, but it just felt fucking good, man. Just knowing that you were in really good shape.
Was that the first time that you had a six pack in your life?
Probably, yeah, since the ages of like 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I think
Oh,
after I left school and then stopped playing sports and started drinking and chasing women, then yeah, but after that, I just started putting weight on and on and on. And I always weight train, but I always tried to put weight on instead of stay in good shape. So I was always trying to put like mass on rather than anything else. And then I ended up just being overweight.
yeah, it
So
feels
yeah,
good to be top 1% no matter where you step in. And you live in a place compared to 14 years ago where, UK cold, you wear a lot of thick clothes, but Australia, well, I've never been there, but the weather from the people I know that live there, it's pretty much very shirtless. Let's say friendly to be shirtless pretty much all
yeah,
year or most of the year. So even more important to be in great shape there because yeah, you could always be at the beach or pool party, and
yeah.
you know if you already put in the work as you did, you worked out and so on, then why not get the most out of it and have the best ROI?
That's it, mate. That's it.
Yeah, and actually, out of personal curiosity, you said like 2024, the word of the year for your health was abs. What did you pick in 2025?
2025 is my ultimate year. So my health, wealth, and experiences, I wanted them all to be the best they've ever been. So yeah, health is just going to be even better this year. Business is going well at the minute, so my wealth will increase along with my investments and experiences for we have got a 5 week family holiday this year. So we're going to Singapore, Dubai, Santorini, and the UK to visit the family.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good places.
Yeah, yeah. Really good places.
Awesome. Well, Neil, thank you very much for jumping on and sharing everyone with a little bit more details on your personal transformation. And I'm very confident that even just like some of the things that you provided here, people listen, especially between the lines of the structure routine, will be a lot of value there. So thank you very much for jumping on and your time today.
Thank you for your help, Mauro. Appreciate it.